the school fees, it ranges from, right now, I would say maybe from about 15,000. I don't know if any school is still paying less than 15,000 pounds. I don't know. But the last time I checked, there were still some schools that were paying about 14,000. So right now, a lot of schools are already, they increase their school fees almost every year now in the UK. So school fees might be from 15,000 pounds above. So when you are trying to decide on the school to go, look at the school fees, consider it. It should be a major thing. It should be part of your major things that you'll be considering. Consider the school fees, consider the town, consider the modules that you are offering. A lot of things that you need to take into consideration. But generally, schools in the UK, a lot of them are, they are all good schools. So you won't have a problem schooling in any one of them, basically. So yeah, that's it.
Wow. Ha. Guys, you need to sit down and think twice about the funding. Do you
Yeah,
have the funding before you step into it? It is
yeah,
at the end of the day, it is worth it actually, but
yeah.
it takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of
Mhm,
funds,
mhm.
to achieve it. Wow.
Yeah, I know it takes a lot of funds, and I don't like to discourage people based on the funds, because I believe that a lot of people are doing it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are on this program. A lot of people are even single people that don't even have dependents, and they
Hmm.
are still able to manage. They are still able to manage. They are still able to pay their school fees. If they have to borrow, and they'll be paying bit by bit, they are still able to do it. So I don't like to discourage people based on it. Just have a plan. Even if you want to borrow, like, it's a plan, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a plan. So have a plan. Once you have a plan, then you can execute your plan in bits. And yeah, that's it.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. I would like to, for those that will be interested in doing this, um, how should they go about it? What are the requirements that they might need to apply for this particular course and for them to get the admission and finally see themselves in the UK?
Okay. So if you are thinking of applying for this course, let's say you are coming from outside the UK, all you need, the major requirements, number one requirement you need is to have a BSc degree. You need a BSc degree. If you have HND, for now, me, I've not seen, no, I've not seen any school that is accepting HND for now. And if you have a national diploma, no, you need a BSc. So once you have a BSc in any discipline, be it adire making, basket weaving, IT, mass communication, economics, language, English, anything, just have a BSc. And you need to have like 2-2 or above. If you have 2-2 is fine. If you have 2-1 is fine. If you have first class is fine. But if you have third class, I've not really seen a school that is accepting third class. There might be, but I've not seen for now. So the major requirement is to have a BSc degree. After your BSc degree, you need to write your IELTS. So you need to write your academic IELTS. So, like I said, I had already done general IELTS when I was doing Canada processing and all that. But when I got my admission and they gave me my conditional offer, they said I needed to write the academic IELTS. I sent my general IELTS. The IELTS result was good, but it has to be academic IELTS. So I went ahead, I registered for academic IELTS, passed it, and sent it to them. And that was how I was able to get my unconditional offer. So, number one, BSc degree. Number two, IELTS. Number three,
I'm sorry to cut you short. What
okay.
band score do they need for the IELTS?
Yes, the band for the IELTS, you need to have 7 above. So you need to have, for listening, speaking, reading, you need to have minimum of band 7. Then for writing, you can have a minimum of band 6.5. But again, it depends on the school. Most school, they will require a general band of 7. But maybe very few schools, 1 or 2 schools, might accept 6.5 in some other areas. But most schools, but your target is to have minimum of 7 in everything. Then you can have 6.5 in writing. which is achievable for a lot of people from Nigeria, anyways. So that's all you need for the IELTS. Yeah. So BSc degree, IELTS, and third one, you need to do a you need to go to an hospital or any healthcare setting and volunteer there. And I think that's the challenge a lot of people have, because they'll be like, oh, what will I tell them when I get there? And I'll be like, just tell them your plan. There's no point hiding, because at the end of the day, you are going to need something from them. You are going to need a reference letter from them. And if you don't let your intention to be known to them from the onset, when it's time for them to give you that reference letter, they might not want to, you know how some people are, they might not want to give you everything you need, because that hospital, the nurse you are working with or the doctor that is in charge, they will have to give you their registration number. So if you don't let your intention known to them and you now want to collect a reference letter from them and you are telling them that can they put their registration number, they'll be like, hello. So tell them your intention, tell them what you want to use, why you are coming to their hospital, tell them what you want to do, so that they can put you on the right path and everything. So you have to volunteer in the hospital. It doesn't have to be volunteer, it can be paid, depending on the hospital. Some hospitals, you tell them that you want to volunteer, they'll be like, no, we are going to pay you a certain amount of money, even if it is just a stipend for the period that you are going to be with us, we are going to pay you. So it doesn't have to be a volunteer, it can be paid, which is nice as well. So you need to volunteer for them for some particular amount of hours. So here again, it depends on the school. Some school will tell you they need 650 hours of clinical experience. Some will tell you they need 760. Some will tell you they need 800. But I will tell people, just try to do between maybe 3 to 4 months and see how you can calculate your hours. Make sure you calculate your hours. Make sure you write it down, so that when it's time to give you your reference letter, everything is in there.
Yeah.
Everything is in there. So try to make sure that you are doing a clinical experience of like 800. Another advantage of doing clinical experience between 600 to 800 is that you can apply to a lot of schools. Imagine if you want to apply to, let's say you want to apply to Manchester Metropolitan, and they've said that they need 750, and another school tells you that they need 800. If you've done like 900, you can use that,
Yes.
you can use that single reference letter to apply to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have up to 900, then you've cut yourself short, because you won't be able to apply to that school. So I tell people, make sure you have enough clinical experience hours so that you can apply to a lot of schools. And that's the thing. You need to be able to apply to lots of schools, because this course is now very competitive.
Wow.
It's not like before that, maybe one or two, because people are coming from all over the world. In my cohort, we have Zimbabwe, different countries, name it, different countries, people from different countries that are coming to do this program. They are coming from different countries. Even people in the UK here too, all of them too, they are studying the same Masters in Nursing program. So you need to make sure that you have enough clinical experience on your hand. So that's the third one, clinical experience. What else? Yeah, I think those are the major important ones. Every other thing are just things you need to submit as part of your documentation, your BSc certificate, your transcript, your international passport, and all those things. But the most important thing is your reference letter. You are going to get a reference letter from that place. And in that reference letter, it needs to be on the hospital letterhead paper. It needs to include your name, when you started, the amount of hours that you've done with them. It needs to include like a brief details of your job description that you were doing while you were there, and just a brief note that, oh, I recommend Rashida because she's this, she's compassionate, she's nice to patients and all that. Just something nice, so that your school can have a look at it and be like, oh, you really qualify to come onto this program. So those
Wow.
are the major requirements: BSc certificate, IELTS results, general overall band 7, and clinical experience. Make sure you do enough clinical experience. I can't say that enough, because I want people to be able to apply to a lot of schools, so that, because we've seen situations that some schools will give you admission, then later they will tell you that, oh, they are sorry, they need to defer you till next year. Even a school did that to me, and I'm like, no, I'm not waiting till next year. So when you have options, then you can easily go with any other school. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah. So those are the major requirements.
Oh, okay. So after all these things, are there interviews to do?
Yes. So after you gather all your requirements, you submit, you get your application, the next thing is they are going to send you interview. You are going to attend an interview. So the interview is not, well, I will not say it's hard or it's easy. It just, once you do one interview, you you get in the process and you know that, oh, these are the interview goals. So the interview, sometimes they do like one-to-one interview, and sometimes it might be like a group interview. So they will just some schools they will send you like things they want you to look at before the interview. Let's say some schools will send you like a document that, read through this document. Will ask you questions based on what you think that is happening to this person that they've sent in the document. And some schools will just be like, your interview will cover areas like NHS values, 5 C's of nursing, and some schools they'll not even tell you anything. They'll just say prepare for interview. It will be a Zoom interview, so you don't have to leave your country yet. You will still be in your country. They will send you the link for the interview. You do the online interview. After the interview, most times they will get back to you that same day or latest the following day. They'll get back to you that, hello, you've done well in the interview and you can now go on to the next stage. And if reverse is the case, they'll tell you and you can know that, oh, after all, I've applied to other schools. No worries. And you just continue your processing like that. So after the interview, they'll send you your recognition of prior learning, which is the RPL. So the RPL is a document, and that document you need to fill it because it shows the evidence that you've had clinical experience. So everything you've done during your volunteer period, while you were volunteering or while you were doing that paid job in the hospital, you are going to reflect on it and you are going to put it in an academic writing. And that is how you are going to fill out your RPL. So once you fill out your RPL, they will guide you. A lot of schools, they are really good when it comes to guiding students for the RPL. Sometimes they will assign a particular lecturer to you to guide you and tell you how to fill it, because I can remember the first time I saw the RPL, I was like, oh, what's this? Where am I going to start from? So a lot of schools they will guide you, and for some schools are just very nice that once you fill in the RPL and you send it to them and you are not there yet, they can see that there are still some lapses. They'll return it back to you, tell you the places you need to work on, tell you the places you need to work on, and if you need like documents to help you, they'll send you those documents, guide you, fill it again, and they'll tell you to send it back.
Wow.
So some of them can be very nice. Whereas some of them, if you just once you fill it anyhow and you submit, that's the end of the road. So it's just good to make sure that anything you are doing, you are putting in that extra effort to make
Yeah.
sure that everything is in place. So that's that about RPL. The RPL can be a bit, I know it's a bit funny for a lot of people, but
Okay.
once you settle down, I usually tell people just relax, read it word for word, and you'll be able to find a way to break it down. After all, that is someone that wrote it, and
Yeah.
once you read it and you understand it, you will know where to start and how to get in the flow. But the challenge a lot of people have with writing it is they want it to be in a particular style of academic writing. Some of them they might say they want a past seventh, APA seventh is a right academic writing style. Some of them they will say they want another writing style. So all you need to do is to go to Google, show me an example of APA seventh. It will show you, then you can know how to put in your inline referencing and all that. So it just depends on how you see it. Once you see it as something you can do, all you need to do is to settle down, have a look at it, and try to understand what they really want from it. Yeah,
Wow.
that's it.
This is really interesting. Like,
So after the RPL, yeah, once you pass the RPL and you've sent in every other document and you don't have any other thing pending, they'll definitely send you your unconditional offer, and that's it.
wow. Ah, well, after all the study, everything, you were still on student visa.
Yes.
So, are there higher chances for people when they finish this program to get sponsorship and then they eventually change their visa? Do you think it's worth coming in to do, and or after the end of the day, you might struggle to get a sponsor and then you are thinking of going back to Nigeria and the likes?
Okay, Kenny, if I'm being honest with you, I would say in terms of looking for a job, it's worth it. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, in terms of looking for a job, you are not going to stress it. You are not going to stress about it. So all you need to do is finish your program. I got my offer, like, okay, if my program was for, I got my offer 1 year, 6 months into my program. I had like
Wow.
6 months that my certificate of sponsorship, it was already sitting in my email
Wow.
6 months before I completed my program. It was already sitting in my email. Like, I already had it. It was with me 6 months before I even finished my program. And I have seen people that they started applying to jobs after 1 year. Remember, it's a 2 years program. The second year, once you start the second year, you can start applying to jobs. But if you now feel that it's a bit too early, you can leave it like 6 months to the end of your program. But I always advise people start early. The worst
Okay.
that can happen is they will say they are not giving you now because you still have a long time before you finish. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, in terms of sponsorship, it is worth it. You are not going to stress it. As soon as you say that you are rounding up, start applying for jobs. Go to NHS track, sign up, set your alerts. Depending on the field you want to go into, set your alerts. Like for me for instance, I I knew I wanted to do critical care because I did a placement in critical care and I loved it. So all the jobs I was applying for was just critical care. So I just set my alert on NHS track or NHS jobs for critical care staff nurse, newly qualified. Whether newly qualified or not newly, it doesn't really matter. Just set your alert. So once they post those jobs, you get the alert, then you apply.
Wow.
So that was what I was doing. Set your alerts, then once the jobs start coming in, start applying. In your application, let them know in your supporting statement, put it there that you are almost finishing your program. In fact, in the application form, it will be there, whether you are still a student or when you are finishing, everything is already there. Just fill it in as appropriate. Once you fill it in as appropriate, once they open your application, they can see that you are still in school, but you are finishing at a particular point in time. If they are okay with it and your supporting statement is fine with them, they will allow you to go to the next stage, which is probably the interview stage. So, in terms of looking for job, personally, I have not seen anybody who did this course and now struggle to get job. I have not seen. We might have people like that, but me, I have not seen. All the people that I know, they got job. Some people got the job they wanted, as in the kind of field they want. That's what they got. Some people, they just decide that, okay, I'll just do this for the meantime. Then later, if I don't like it, I'll switch to something else. But I've not seen anybody who really struggled to get job, because you're already here anyways. Just apply for job, do the interview, and get the job. But we even have some trust that they don't even do interview. Let's say, for instance, let's say you schooled in Birmingham. Because you schooled in Birmingham, the Birmingham Trust, they might say, oh, you are their student already. They don't want to do interview for you. I'm just saying, for instance. So some trusts don't even do interview for their newly qualified. They just tell you pick 3 choices of specialty that you want. Then out of that 3 choices, they will give you one out of it. And a lot of times they give people their first choice. They don't give you your first choice, they might give you your second choice. And but if you, let's say you now want to change city, you might decide that, okay, since I'm changing city, let me apply to jobs in other areas as well, in other cities. And that's on your own terms. So once you apply to the job, they call you for interview because you didn't school in their city. They might want you to come for an interview because they don't know anything about you. They don't know anything about your educational background. So in the interview, of course, you need to prepare for an interview. That's a story for another day.